Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the lay debate lecture. Um, can you guys see the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. So, lay debate. Okay, so first we're going to start off by talking about what a lay judge is. We're going to do like perception versus reality and like kind of like talk about like what lay judges, what people think lay judges are and like versus what they really are. And then we'll like talk about how you can adapt through like each speech in each part of the round so that you're able to pick up lay judges. So, let's start with perception. So most debaters when they walk into like their round and they see a lay judge in the back of the room, they're going to have like a lot of like thoughts that have been kind of like ingrained in their mind because like this is kind of what everyone says about lay judges, but these are kind of just like not very true. So like most people think that lay judges like don't really know anything about debate. They like can't keep up with like any speed and they're like, "Oh, I have to like speak like one word per minute." Like and they're gonna think that like lay judges just don't take any kind of notes like mental or like physical notes. They're not gonna remember anything other than like what was said in the second final focus. They're gonna only vote off crossfire, vote off perceptual dominance, or like kind of just evaluate the rounds based on their opinions and not really what happens in the round. But all these things just like are not true. So these perceptions are just like really bad. And most people, when they like lose rounds with a lay judge, they're like, oh, it was a judge screw. But like in reality, that's just not true. It's just you didn't adapt well. So also, another thing is that most judges in debate are going to be lay. I would say that like 75% of all judges in the event are not tech judges because like there just aren't that many like tech like debaters that are like judging compared to like parents who like dedicate their weekends to like judge at tournaments. So you're gonna have to encounter like a lot of these at tournaments, even if you're like at a more like quote unquote tech tournament. So like at every national tournament, you're gonna have to like encounter a few or like all of them could be lay. So it's like really important to just not call everything a judge screw and kind of like learn how to adapt. So in reality, lay judges are going to be usually like parents or college students who are like hired by the tournament who are like dedicating their time to be at tournaments to like make the tournament possible. Like tournaments just wouldn't have enough judges if like these people didn't give up their weekends. So instead of like just like trashing them and being like, "Oh my God, I hate lay judges," like you should just like learn how to deal with it and like learn how to like adapt because that's what like makes a really great debater is like one that can adapt to any kind of judging. So that's really important to keep in mind. Also, lay judges are equally as capable of like following around and making a decision based on what happens in the round. So like lay judges, even though they're not going to be like flowing in the back of the room, they're not going to be like looking at extensions and like looking at turns and things like that. They're obviously going to still be evaluating the round based on what happened most of the time, and it's really important to just kind of like keep a clear narrative and kind of just convince your judge as to why you're winning. So like that's really important. Like judges are still going to be evaluating the round based on what was said in round, but also lay judges are like equally as smart as like tech judge. Like I would say a lot of lay judges are non-interventionalists. Like they're not going to be making extensions for you like a lot of like some tech judges would do, and like they're equally as smart. They're gonna like listen to your weighing and be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense and things like that. So just because you have a lay judge doesn't make them any dumber than like a tech judge. It's just like different ways of following around, and it's just like really important that you like learn like that lay judges are still good judges and that you just need to adapt. So let's talk about how you can adapt.
Yeah, so we're kind of just gonna go speech by speech, and first things first is constructives. There's a couple things you can do to make your constructives more lay friendly. First thing is to run true arguments. So what that means is don't base your arguments off of sketchy cards. An example on this topic is the sand mafia argument probably won't be that convincing to a lay judge in the back of the room, whereas a case about infrastructure and how it saves lives is. And the reason for that is because those cases don't rely on evidence, they're kind of just intuitive. It's intuitive that by building something, you're going to create jobs and boost the economy. And then the second thing is to have a clear narrative from the start. So what that means is to really focus in and hone in on what voting for you means. So if voting for you means that you save the developing world, make that really clear at the beginning of the round so the judge knows throughout the round what each team is advocating for. And then the third thing is to have a stronger and better case than your opponent. Oftentimes, people don't consider how strength of link and the strength of your case plays into a late round, but this can actually be really effective because let's say you can give examples of when your case happened in the past. That's going to be more effective and more persuasive to a lay judge than if you just go up there and say this might happen, this has never happened before.